This is Fishtales, a seafood podcast. I'm John Sussman. In this episode, we'll be discussing what's happening in the Sydney fish markets this Christmas. We have three expert guests joining us. Angelo Vaxevani of Nicholas Seafoods, Frank Theodore from Get Fish, and Narito Ishii of Wellstone Seafoods. These veteran market retailers and food service distributors will give us an insight into the best seafood options for Christmas and what to expect at the markets this year. Angelo Vaxevani has been a retailer at the Sydney Fishmarkets for over 20 years and knows all the ins and outs of the market. Frankie Theodore is a food service distributor with a wealth of knowledge about the seafood industry, and Narito Ishii is a Japanese fishmonger who brings a unique perspective to the conversation. We hope you enjoy this special holiday episode of the Fishtales Seafood Podcast and get some great ideas for your Christmas seafood feast. So we're here at the Sydney Fish Market with master fishmonger Angelo Vaxevani from Nicholas Seafoods. Ange, what's up for Christmas this year, mate?
How are you, John? Christmas, we've got a lot of fresh prawn this year. It's been a bumper crop. Tropico's produced a large prawn this year, very good prawn.
That's a tiger prawn?
That is a tiger prawn. It's a farm tiger prawn. Also, we've got some beautiful crystal bait prawns.
And that's a banana prawn, right?
That's a banana prawn. This
Which
year,
one do you prefer out of a tiger and a banana? I mean, they're quite different, aren't they?
They are different. This year, I do like my tigers, but this year my pick is banana prawn.
Right.
Crystal Bay bananas, they're amazing. The colour is deep. The flavour is perfect. It's a firm prawn this year. They've done a bumper crop this year.
And how about wild prawns? What are you looking at this year for wild prawns, mate?
Wild prawns, I've got a large, extra large king prawn. Unfortunately, the prawn isn't as big as they were in previous years, but they're still a good prawn to have.
Yeah, fantastic. What are you doing with crabs this year? What do you think about crabs for Christmas?
Crabs are always good. It's a family favourite. We've got green crabs, cooked crabs, blue swimmer crabs, muck crabs. We've also got yabbies. We've got marron this year. So we've got a good range of crustacean this year. Also, we've got scampi, WA lobsters, southern lobsters, all fresh this year.
Now, you have both live and cooked here at Nicholas.
Yes, we have local live lobsters. We've also got the Southern
Rock lobster.
Southern Rock lobster, anywhere from 1 kilo to 3 kilo lobsters this year.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic. And what are you predicting for fish this year, Ange?
This year I'm just having the classic snapper, barra, coral trout, John Dory, sand whiting, salmon, trout. Gold band snapper is very good. We've got some beautiful red emperor this year as well. They're all locked in, ready to go.
Tell us about the whole Christmas buying of seafood down here. How many have you done now?
All up in the Sydney Fish Market, this is my 23rd year.
23?
Yep.
So
23 years.
And have you got any advice for people that are coming down here over the Christmas New Year period? When's the best time to come and how should they buy and what should they be looking for?
Oh, look, any time's a good time to come. It's just whether if you want to miss the rush, you want to be in the chaos, if you want to come late afternoon. Whether you come at the start, the middle or the end, we've got that much product here. Like, you will not miss out and you will get good product. From the start, in the middle of the rush to the end. We'll have the product, we'll have it all. Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah, unreal. And so after 23 Christmases, what's on the Christmas table at your place, mate?
This year we got, I've actually got some jumbo scampi. I'll have some nice Sydney rock oysters, a dozen of Pacifics. I'm also cooking a lamb on a spit this year. It's fantastic.
Well, you are Greek, mate. You're allowed to.
Yeah. So we're combining the Indonesian and the Greek food together, fuse it all together, and that's what we do every year.
Fantastic. So, Ange, tell us about some of the craziness that goes on here during that 36-hour trading period. I mean, you don't sleep. I've seen that for 23 years.
Yeah.
But what else happens down here? What are some of the crazy stories?
Oh, crazy. People just come down here just to have dinner. You know, 2 o'clock in the morning, they come and have dinner, to buy something, have some oysters outside. They'll grab a kilo of prawn, 2 dozen oysters. They'll grab a couple of lobsters. They'll get some wine, some beer, go sit outside.
At 2 a.m.
2 a.m. in the morning. They love it. And it is a show. Like, you cannot see people in the floor in the arcade here. There's heads everywhere. It's amazing. You stand on one end, and to get to the other end, it usually takes you a minute or two. It'll take you at least 20 minutes to get there because you're in and out. But people do come down to buy hot food. They buy their alcohol. They'll have a coffee. They'll have a party. They have the Christmas parties. They love it. It's an atmosphere to come down to see.
And what about going into 2023? What are you looking forward to in the seafood industry for next year?
Some price reductions.
He's a customer of mine.
Some price reductions. Looking into 23, we're going to have what I can see is prawns are going to be abundance, and they're going to reduce in price. So we're hoping to see increased sales there. The quality of the prawn will be amazing. And fish again, fish is amazing this time of the year. You'll have a lot of hot food. A lot of people on holidays, they'll come down, they'll enjoy the atmosphere. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And do you get a break after the madness of summer, mate?
No.
We should tell the boss.
Yeah.
So, Ange, thanks so much for giving us the tips for Christmas this year.
You're welcome.
You have a good one, mate.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Cheers. We're here at the Sydney Fishmarkets at the home of the premium seafood distributor into the fine dining sector in Sydney, Get Fish, with its principal, Mr. Frank Theodore. Frankie, how's it going?
Johnny, good, my friend. How are you going?
Fantastic.
Excellent.
So Christmas 22, how's it shaping up?
Christmas 22, mate, what a year. Look, it's been pretty phenomenal, in fact. We've been trading since Easter, go back to Easter, at a phenomenal growth rate. There's a lot of great chefs out there doing really good stuff. They're all eager to use different, unique fish. We're working strong with fishermen and local producers, and business has been really, growing really well. There's fish talk amongst chefs. Even steakhouses are putting more fish on their menus nowadays. The growth coming from Easter has been gradually climbing. The last 6 to 8 weeks, we just under the pump, as you can appreciate.
And what are the species that you're seeing out there that have sort of come through this year that are sort of featuring on menus?
Look, one of the outstanding highlights for me is the refresh coral trout, the wild catch fishery, sustainable fishery. The fish is amazing. It's killed to order. It's caught live, kept live in tanks. It's basically killed to order. It gets beautifully handled, mate, and air freighted to us the next day. Mate, that is on some of the best restaurants in Sydney's menus and growing. It's a phenomenal product. So that's really outstanding to me from a wild fishery. As far as the aquaculture is concerned, mate, we've got everything. So like your kingfishers, they're strong. We've got a bit of the giant groper on menus now. Although the fish is not fantastic in size, it's really good quality. We're just working with what we can get. Unfortunately, the wild fishery is a bit scarce.
Yeah, right. Now, you've been a judge at the Sydney Royal Oyster Competition for many years, and oysters are an absolute passion of yours. Tell us about the year in oysters, Frankie.
What a year. Ups and downs, Johnny. Look, we've obviously, as everyone's aware, with all the floods and the impact that it's had on our Sydney Rock, especially Sydney Rock species. It's been tough. There's been a lot of farmers who've sort of they lost a couple of generations. So it'll be another year or two before we get to see any of that stock come back into play. Having said that, there are still some good producers out there. Some small little boutique family-owned businesses which are doing good work. Even the Pacific oyster industry is improved to what it used to be. It was more about getting volume. Now working closely with some of the chefs who want to know a little bit more and do things a little bit different. They're listening to our requests a little bit more. And as you said, I know my oysters well enough to sort of have a chat to these farmers, and we're working with producing a better Pacific oyster. So that's taken a little bit of the market, taking the pressure off the Sydney Rock, local market. So there's some really good Pacifics at the moment. I think this Christmas, as far as oysters, there's an abundance of oysters if you split between the two variety.
Yeah, right. And coming into 2023, what are you looking forward to in seafood for 23?
Oh, look, I'd love to see a little bit more wild fishery. Like, I've reached out to a couple of these small little wild producers. The old friend of mine, Tracy, out of the Coorong, for instance, we've been talking to her about getting some of her new mulloway, or not new, but new to the market. We used it years ago. But once again, with all this fresh water, they're sitting on the mouth. They're not coming in the Coorong. They can't be caught. I'd say by January, February next year, there'll be some really nice ongoing mulloway out of the Coorong. Of course, there's the mullet there as well, the Coorong yellow-eyed mullet. I've got another local fisherman who catches fish out of Patonga. Good local fish, so we're looking at, excited to start with this new producer there, and some of the local boats. There's not many left here in Sydney, but the ones that are around are producing some good product. We're getting some really nice local calamaris and some nice flathead, and so there's some good fish here. I'm looking forward to the next few months ahead.
And finally, what's going to be on the Frank Theodore Christmas table this year, mate?
Oh, mate, we're going to have... it's going to be a big spread. I've got all the family coming over. We're going to have T-bone steak. We're going to have
sausages.
No, mate, it's all seafood, my friend. It's all seafood on. It's always been all seafood, mate. I mean, look at our weather. Look where we live. It's got to be seafood.
Yeah, fantastic.
There's going to be lobster. There's going to be oysters. There's going to be crab. There's going to be... and there's going to be the good old Greek souvlaki on the barbecue.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Frankie Theodore from Get Fish, thanks so much and have a great Christmas.
Likewise. Thanks, mate. Ta-da.
We're here with Narito Ishii, the rock star fishmonger to the Japanese restaurants, the best Japanese restaurants in Australia, based here at the Sydney Fishmarkets. Narito, how's 2022 been for seafood for you?
Actually, this year was after lockdown finished, so everything fish is moving very well, and also nice fish is coming down. But one thing is I can see is price gone up like a crazy.
Yeah, right. And what about supply of wild fish? I mean, you predominantly work in the wild fish market for your customers.
Yes.
How have you found supply in 2022?
Supplying of wild products is quite good, but this year it's also lots of raining, so it's not much fish around from the wild courts. Also, not much what's called prawns, crabs is very rare, and also price like a double jump.
Amazing. And this year we've seen the rise or the explosion in omakase restaurants. That's been good for your business, but it must mean that you have to work really hard to come up with different seafood every day.
Yes, exactly. So we have one nice fish, which customer have to send it to. And then now social media everywhere. If I send to someone, they can find it. So that's a problem.
Right. And what are you looking forward to going into 2023? What do you think's happening with the market?
All right. 2023, I can see actually, because all the borders open, Japan also. So many people can go to Japan. And they used to go to the omakase in Sydney here, but these people go to Japan. So maybe omakase restaurant a little bit come down in this country, I think.
As people go back to Japan for that experience.
Yes.
Right, okay. And, mate, what are you going to be eating this Christmas? What's going to be on the Ishii household table?
Ishii house is always a burgundy red wine and the tuna.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Narito, thanks so much for giving us a Christmas update.
No problem.
Look forward to seeing you next year.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Fishtales, a seafood podcast. A Deep in the Weeds production. I'm John Sussman. Follow us on Instagram at Fishtales Seafood Podcast or email us at fishtalespodcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay tuned for more tales from beneath the surface of the seafood world every Friday on your podcast app.